All right. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody that's joining our call here today. It's 4 o'clock here in Copenhagen, and it's probably a lot earlier where lots of folks are joining from here today. So thanks so much for everyone joining our basic Kahoot webinar here. It's the middle of September. Crazy that the summer has flown by, but we're still gonna have some fun here on our basic session here today. Looking forward to everybody joining. Of course, as always, as your host, my name is Connor Lutzko, and I am here to have lots of fun with you here today and teach you a little bit more about the fundamentals of using Kahoot. So, very much looking forward to speaking with everybody here today. All right, so I'm just posting in the chat here. So again, if anybody has questions throughout this webinar, make sure to use the chat that I just posted in here. All of your questions, I'll do my best to answer them as fast as I possibly can, while also delivering a fun and engaging demonstration for us here today. I'll give it a couple more minutes for people to get started, and then we'll go ahead and play a Kahoot and get started with our basic session here today. I hope everybody's having an awesome week so far. I know things usually get a lot busier after Labor Day, after the kids go back to school into September. So hopefully we can have a little bit of fun while we learn about Kahoot here as well. Alrighty, I can see lots of folks still pouring in, which is really great to see. Lots of people looking to learn a little bit more about the fundamentals of how to build and host a Kahoot here today. Alrighty, so without further ado, let me go ahead and share my screen and we will get rolling when it comes to playing Kahoot. So as you can see here on my screen, this is what it looks like when you launch a Kahoot. So once you've actually created your Kahoot, which we'll go through all together, this is what it looks like. We now need to choose what game mode we're going to play here today. So I'll give you a little spoiler. We're playing Classic Kahoot, the one that you all know and love. It's the one that is our flagship product. And I want to show you how you can use it in your team meetings, in your presentations to really make that more engaging. Alrighty. Now, not to mention on our next one, this is our basic session, but next week we'll be going through different game modes, such as presentation mode, a really good game mode when it comes to making learning a little bit more professional in the workplace. You might be in team meetings where it might not be appropriate to have a fun avatar next to your name. No problem at all. We have a solution for you in presentation mode. But considering this is the first basic session group that we're going to be going through, we're going to play classic mode. We're going to keep it light. We're going to keep it fun today. And we're going to have some fun while learning. Hello, Kimberly. I see you in the chat. Awesome to see. And last but not least, before I go ahead and get started, we also have lots of games. Again, we are the leader in gamification, which you'll learn in my presentation here today. But definitely make sure to take a look at a lot of the awesome games to really make sure that your learners are having a really good time when it comes to the learning process. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and start up my Kahoot here today. And if you don't know the drill, now you know. Make sure you get your phone out and you're going to scan the QR code up on the screen here. Or what you can also do is go to kahoot.it and type the game pin 670495. And a little pro tip, you can also click on the QR code as a presenter and it'll get large on the screen for you to join. So I'll give it some time here for everyone to join. Look at that. We got lots of people joining here. Fantastic to see. Really, really cool. Keep that up just a moment longer here so everyone can go ahead and join our session. Awesome. Look at that. We got lots of people pouring in. Good to see. All righty. Like I said before, if you can't scan the QR code, you can always go to kahoot.it and type the game pin 670495. I'm going to go ahead and type that into the chat as well. So if for whatever reason you get logged out of our game here today, just go back to kahoot.it and then you can always join back in the game as well. It's a common question that I get asked as well a lot in customer calls is, hey, what if I have to jump off and go on a call and I need to join the Kahoot? No problem. You can always join back doing it this way as well. All right. Awesome stuff. So we have a great group here today. We're gonna have lots of fun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. How do you add the avatars? Okay, great question. Sorry. So that's a really awesome question. So it's when you go ahead and join the game, you'll be able to select. So you would have selected an avatar when it came to joining the game. You can, when you are selecting your avatar, if you click on your avatar, you're actually able to change it, and you're also able to add an accessory, such as a hat, or maybe it's going to be a cap, things like that as well. Great question. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let me click on start and let's have some fun here today. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Welcome everybody again to the Kahoot Basic webinar. I am your host here today. My name is Connor, which you'll see on the next slide, but really grateful to be able to speak with everybody here today and hopefully teach you a little bit more about Kahoot and how you can use it not only at school, but also at work. You can use it in your team meetings and a lot of other impactful areas that we'll go through later today. But again, looking forward to speaking with all you lovely folks on our call here today. Awesome. Let's move on to the next one here. As I said before, my name's Connor. I'm a customer success manager here at Kahoot. I have the best job in the world. I get to talk to customers every single day about how to make learning fun and engaging in the workplace. And I truly have a blast each and every day. I also enjoy doing these webinars for folks that are looking and contemplating on if they want to add Kahoot into their stack of technologies. So very lucky I am for sure. All right. So next up here, I have a question for everybody here, and this is a good way to get the ice broken here. Is where are you joining from today? So this is a drop pin. So on the map, just drop a pin on where you're joining from. About 25 seconds. We'll love to see where you are joining. I haven't included Australia because I'm going to imagine you're probably sleeping at this point. But let's go ahead and see. Just drop a pin. You got about 10 seconds left, so try and get those answers in as fast as possible. Just drag the pin to wherever you're located. Got 10, 11 answers on the board. Good stuff to see. Awesome. Here we go. Look at that. Perfect. So we got lots of folks all around the world, which is really cool. So we have quite a few people in the United States. It looks like we have some people a little bit higher up in Canada. I'm actually from Canada, so it's cool to see that we have some people joining from the homeland. Really cool. And we also have lots of people here joining from Europe, which makes sense. So really, really cool to see. And I think this is a testament that it doesn't matter where you're joining from. You can use Kahoot no matter what. You know, if you have people in an international setting, you can have them join from anywhere. So really cool to see there. All right, next question I have here is the agenda for today. So step number one here that I'm going to be doing is going through just what we're going to be covering, some introductory slides. I like to call that the boring stuff. And then of course, we're going to be going through how to actually create a Kahoot, which is the fun stuff. And of course, our ultimate goal here today is to not only create a Kahoot, but also host a Kahoot. And of course, I want to make sure we all have some fun along the way. And as a pro tip as well, the boring stuff we're going through here, I can show you how we can make it a lot more fun. Of course, we're going to have to go through slides in our everyday life at work, but I'm going to show you that by using Kahoot, you can make your slides really come to life, and they can be a lot more impactful for people that are learning in your organization. But before I do that, I have a question for everybody, and this is a word cloud question. So I would love to know what your role is at your organization. So just go ahead and type it in. Maybe it's customer success like I am. Maybe you're in human resources. Maybe it's learning development. Just would love to see the individuals that we have joining here. It's in 20 characters or less. Look at that. 13 answers on the board. You're all doing great. If this is the first session, you're all doing fantastic. All right, let's see where everyone's. All right, trainer, CS trainer, perfect. Corporate trainer, managing director, director, training specialist. So really cool to see. I think that by reading all of these, we can actually see so many different use cases when it comes to Kahoot. We have a nurse on the call. Awesome. We love what you do. Great to see. So super interesting. I think it's a testament to how widely Kahoot is used in organizations. So really interesting stuff there. Isabel, I can see you have your hand up there. Just go ahead and type it in the chat if you have any questions. And Megan, I can't figure out where to go play. Yeah, so what you would able to do, Megan, is so if you go to kahoot.it and then you type in the game pin, you can go ahead and join the call here as well. Yeah, fantastic. Awesome. But just back to this again, just again, lots of people that that are joining. Again, it's really cool to see that we have so many different training elements, which is a testament to Kahoot, right? A lot of the use cases when it comes to an impactful learning all comes from L&D. It comes from people training, and Kahoot should be at the stack of all of the technologies that you're using. You're welcome, Megan. No problem. All right. Moving on to my next slide here. So a very common question that we get asked here is, who is Kahoot or what is Kahoot? Maybe my kids have played it at school. Like, how does it actually work in the workplace? And I would tell you that it works incredibly well. And I would say that 97% of Fortune 500 companies actually use Kahoot every single day. So if you name a company, odds are there is people at that organization that are using Kahoot, which is super cool. We are the leader in gamification. We also believe that just because you leave school doesn't mean that learning stops. Our mission as a company is to make learning awesome, and that extends from school. It also means that in the workplace where we spend most of our lives, it should be an engaging experience. And I think that for all the trainers on our call, you totally understand, right? You have a hard enough job to make people retain information. I can help you here. Use Kahoot to make it more engaging. People have the attention span of less than a goldfish nowadays, so we always need to acknowledge that and understand that. And by adding tools like Kahoot that are for engagement purposes, we really can help the learner learn a lot more quickly. So one more thing just to add here, just for people that are looking to learn a little more about Kahoot, this really is a solution that we look for, right? We understand as an organization that business challenges are incredibly complex. It's almost like an onion. There's lots of layers to it. There's multiple moving parts. And we truly believe that our solution is something that should be easy, just like everyone going ahead and scanning in today. Pretty simple process. We also make sure that it's fun, right? Because that way it can be rewarding as well for every single employee. And that's our mission as an organization here. But next up here, I do have a question, and this is a poll. Now that you have played a couple of Kahoot questions here, I just want to know what your experience level is using Kahoot. I know this is a basic session, but maybe you're a super user. Maybe you've never used it before. Maybe you've hosted it once or twice. Just curious to learn about where you land on the spectrum of experience when it comes to Kahoot. There's no right or wrong answers either. It's more for my own sake to understand. Awesome stuff here. Great. Awesome. So yeah, again, as a basic session, yeah, most people have not played Kahoot before. We have a super user in the house. That's awesome to see. That's really cool. And we also have lots of people who maybe have hosted, played a game or two, this or that. So super cool to see. It's a really good way for me just to make sure that the topics that I'm covering in our basic session are going to be impactful for you in terms of a learning technology. So cool to see. Hey, you came to the right place when it comes to never using Kahoot before, or maybe using it once or twice. You're in good hands for sure. So just moving on here for my last couple of slides before we go into the fun stuff is the impact areas that Kahoot is most common in. And when it comes to work, these are the common things that I see. I manage hundreds of customers when it comes to finding out a more advanced use case. And these really are the most common things that we typically see. We see Kahoot being used in town halls. Maybe your organization has large events going on. Maybe that you need it for team internal communications. Maybe it's for news sharing. There is a use case for using Kahoot there. Another really common use case that we see Kahoot being used for, of course, not just in learning, compliance as well. We have a lot of really awesome organizations, namely SNCF. It's the French National Railway, and they actually trained 4,000 people using Kahoot because they understood that learning compliance items can be a little bit dry at times. So by engaging in a fun way, they were able to train over 4,000 people, which is super impressive. So lots of use cases here. You can always find and mold a use case when it comes to using Kahoot. I just recommend trying it out. That's the best way to go ahead and learn there as well. So my last question for everybody here before we dive in here, it's an open-ended question. So I would love to know in your organization with so many people on the call with different use cases, how do you actually plan on using Kahoot? Or maybe you use Kahoot already. Maybe you can share a little bit more about how you currently use it in your organization. There's no right or wrong answer. It's more for my sake to get a better understanding about how Kahoot is being used. So when you're also making a Kahoot, this is, like I said, an open-ended question. You're also going to have to highlight afterwards, once you give your response, one word that was summarized or what you feel is the most important word in the sentence that you provided. And I'll show you why when I show the answers up on the screen. Another way that we can always look at this as well when we're doing this is try and apply what we're doing here to a learning environment, right? Right now, I'm asking you for feedback on how you plan on using Kahoot. Another use case you could use, for example, because we have a lot of trainers on call, is after a training, ask for feedback. What would make this training more impactful for you? Or how would you like to see training done at my organization? It really allows us to make those trainings more impactful, which of course is the number one idea when it comes to being a strong trainer as well. All right, 20 seconds left. We've got 17 answers on the board. You're all experts. I know most people said that this is you're new to Kahoot, but you're all doing so well. I'm very impressed. 10 seconds left. Just go get those answers in if you haven't put a response in, and I'll show up all of the responses on the screen. You don't have to share the responses as well, which I'll show you here. So let's say, for example, you're in a team meeting as well. You don't necessarily have to show these responses. Maybe you're just looking to gather a little bit more anonymous feedback. No problem. You can go ahead and skip the answers and go to the next slide. But for the sake of today, I want to show you what the feedback is. So here's just a look at some of the answers that we got. And it's great. Presentations, engagement, absolutely. Mandatory training, really, really good. Learning more about Kahoot in our training, but just the games. I would like to use more of the features available. Awesome. Well, you came to the right place. This is a really good spot. And not only just on our basic session, you can also use a lot of these tools in our next session next Wednesday on the advanced, which you'll learn a lot more about stories, courses, and a lot more of the nitty-gritty stuff here. Here today, we're just going to be learning more about how to build a Kahoot and how to host a Kahoot. Really cool. Making training sessions more fun. Amazing. Onboarding new employees. Perfect. Maybe I can give you an example there. Here at Kahoot, we actually have employees learn about Kahoot before they start. We actually assign a Kahoot course built in Kahoot so they can learn about the organization, learn about the values of our organization, being inclusive and being curious among others as well. For training, perfect. So as you can see here, a lot of really great, impactful areas here. Really, really awesome to see as well. So that was everything with regards to playing a Kahoot. I hope so far this has already been a little bit inspirational how you can potentially use it in team meetings, those onboarding sessions. So many good ideas there, which is really great to see. So I'm going to shift gears here and go into Kahoot, which is what it looks like. So here, when you have your Kahoot account, this is what it would look like when you log in. So it takes you to your screen where you have an overview of all of your learnings, for example. So here, if I was someone who was a learner, I'm going to be able to see, oh, okay, here are the things I need to complete. A sample onboarding course. I need to complete these trainings. It just gives me an overview of all of the things that I need to do. So if I build a Kahoot, I can also see it in my library section. You also have access to reports. So after every single game that you play, you can see how people performed on that report as well. For all of the trainers that are joining our call, this is a really massive use case because you want to make sure people are retaining that knowledge. If people are not getting most of the questions right, it is a really good opportunity for us to revisit that and make sure that the people that are getting the questions right, we're giving them ample opportunities to learn again and again and again, which is really cool. Um, Another use case I think I saw before as well was on that mandatory training as well. This is going to be on our advanced session next week, but I'm going to show you next Wednesday. So make sure you tune in next Wednesday as well, how you can actually make that mandatory training really impactful by making sure that people get a course certificate when they pass a course. And you can set the parameters of what a pass is. So for example, maybe you need people to get 70% correct of all the answers in a Kahoot, and then they get this nice fancy certificate with your logo on it and your signature. That's a really cool thing to use Kahoot for as well. So that's next week on our advanced session. But for today, we're keeping it nice and light, and I'm going to show you how to build and host that Kahoot as well. So super cool to see. So I'll dictate over just to our library section. The library is actually where we host all of our content here. So as you can see here, I have just my basic webinar for today. This is the Kahoot we just played actually. So this is the one that I just loaded up on the screen. So if you were looking to host that live, you would just click host live and then go through the exact steps that I did when I just played that with everybody just a moment ago. So that's how you would host it in a live professional setting. The second thing you would do is assign. So here's what you would do, for example, if there was individuals that couldn't join the meeting here today. So maybe you had coworkers that, hey, maybe they had a meeting, they had to pick up their kids, maybe they had to do X, Y, or Z. If you wanted them to go ahead and see a certain presentation, you could actually go ahead and just click on the assign button here, and then they could actually have the exact same experience that we did by playing it on their own time. So what you would do is you click on assign. You could set a deadline for when they need to complete this by, or don't. And then you can choose if you want to have a question timer turned on. We have something called player identifier, which means that you can track player progress, which is really cool. That's great for trainers as well, making sure that we know that people are progressing throughout entire learning, just among others to set up. But all you would do to send it out is click on create. And then just like that, we're going to go ahead and have a area where we can go ahead and send it out here. So you can send it by email, you can send it via a URL. So all you need to do here is just take that URL and post that in email, post that in Slack or whatever messaging system you use at your organization. You can embed a QR code into your PowerPoint presentation. So then people, when you're doing a PowerPoint, you actually could just get your phone out and then scan the QR code as well. So multiple different ways you can send that out there. Can you assign a release time? Really cool. Yeah, good question. For an individual Kahoot itself, you wouldn't actually have an automated time that it would be sent out, but you can do that inside of a course. You can decide the time frame of when you actually want to assign different modules in your course. Yeah, really good question, Colleen. Yeah. What information is collected on players? Yeah, really good question as well. So when someone joins a Kahoot like this, um, you actually have the ability to do a nickname generator. So it wouldn't necessarily be like email or phone, unless you turn on player identifier. So really good question there. If you were looking to make people log in and using an identification, you would decide that inside of your settings section. So if you want people to enter their email, then you would turn on player identifier and you can toggle email as the identifier. Yeah, great question, Lena. If the Kahoot is assigned, will they see other answers as well for the open-ended question? Yeah, really, really good question. So yes, that is quite possible as well. That will be another way for you to use Kahoot, Pilar. So yeah, really good question. They will be able to do that unless you toggle it on that you don't want that visibility. Yeah. All great questions. You're all asking such good questions. This is really great. But it's really great to see this kind of engagement when it comes to playing Kahoot. Cool stuff. Awesome. So that's what it looks like from hosting a Kahoot. We went ahead and played it live. I showed you how to assign it. Now I'm in the reporting section as well. I'm going to go into reports in a lot more detail next week, but a high level overview of reports. After you play the Kahoot, you can go ahead and see all the participants here. You can see all the questions and all of that fun stuff there as well. I'm happy I was able to pronounce your name correctly. Perfect. Music to my ears. That's awesome. Cool. So you have the ability to change all of the settings around the Kahoot as well in here. We didn't actually set a deadline for the Kahoot, but if you actually want to set a deadline, maybe it's like end of the month, end of the quarter, you can always make those changes here. All right. So we've gone through quite a bit. Now I want to go through creating a Kahoot because that's why you're all here. So let's go ahead and create a Kahoot. So if I go and click on create, and I will have multiple different things I can go ahead and create. So Kahoot, we have stories, we have courses, stories and courses for next week, and we're going to build on building a Kahoot here today. So if I click on create, it's going to ask me, how do I want to go ahead and get started? Of course, in 2025, every single company has AI features. It's all the buzz, it's all the rave. And absolutely, that's the same here at Kahoot. But I will say it's actually very useful. So let's say, for example, you want to go ahead and create a Kahoot based off of a frequently asked question sheet you have. Maybe you have a PDF of what you want to create as a quiz. You can actually go ahead and upload a PDF and it will create a Kahoot for you. The same thing goes for maybe a certain topic. So let's use that as an example. I'll click on Kahoot Generator. And then what do we want to make a quiz about here today? Let's say because we had a lot of L&D folks in here, we can go ahead and see there. Yeah, Colin, great question. When it comes to PDF or Kahoot Generator, it would depend on your plan. So what I can do there is I can contact you directly with regarding your plan, and it also depends on your user settings because it's possible that some organizations they have an approved AI being used in their organizations, so it's likely it could be turned off as well. But I can connect with you offline after our call here today. Yeah, great question. With regards to the Kahoot generator, we can go ahead and type in a topic. So let's say we want to do learning and development. I think that's a really good use case for using Kahoot. So let's see what we can create a quiz about here today. So learning and development, I'll click on generate, and I want to create a quiz. So here is what the AI cooks up for us here. So here are some great questions. So how do you prefer to learn? It's a really good use case here. What's the main goal of learning and development? Which method is best for adult learning? It just creates sample questions for you so you can draw inspiration to get started. So definitely rely on this when it comes to building your first couple of Kahoots. It just makes the process a lot easier when it comes to getting started there. We also have a lot of really great templates as well. So if you were looking to have some stuff that's already been built for us, you can absolutely use this. So maybe it's like an end of year event, maybe you have like an employee engagement survey that needs to go out. Feel free to use these. They're already built into the tool for you to use at any time. Super cool stuff. All right, and then the last two things I'll mention here is blank canvas, which means starting from scratch. I'm sure you're all very hardworking people, but I want to make your life a little bit easier. So I'll show you one way that I would recommend you using Kahoot, and that is by importing slides, like a presentation. Maybe you built it in PowerPoint, maybe you built it in Google Slides, maybe you have like a PDF, for example. Here's what you do. You click on import slides, and then you either sync it with Google or sync it with Microsoft, depending on which tool you use. A lot of people are typically using Microsoft PowerPoint. You just would sync with OneDrive and choose your presentation. The same thing would go with Google Drive. You can set your presentation up that way. Or what you can do is upload a PDF, which I'm going to show you here today as well. So if I click upload file, I can then choose the slides I want to upload. I click upload, and then I wait for technology to do its thing for 5 to 10 seconds, and it will update all of the slides here today. This is when we have to play the Jeopardy music while it goes ahead and it loads here. Um, Perfect. So we have all of our slides here. I can then click Add All. Let's see. Perfect. Perfect. And just like that, now you can see how to add slides to a Kahoot. So I always have to ask, how easy is that, right? Super simple. We just, a matter of a couple of buttons, we've now actually created a presentation for us to build off of. So really cool, really easy functionalities to make your life a little bit easier. Now, I have to say as well that still this is just slides. So this is one thing that you can do. Um, so now that we have our slides updated, what I always recommend doing to make your presentations more impactful is to add those quiz questions. This is why you use Kahoot, for engagement purposes. So after we've had our slides, we click add question, and this is where you can add your questions. There's two buckets of quiz questions. We have something for testing knowledge. This is for points. So if you're looking to really create a competitive atmosphere, have a leaderboard that shows that Colleen's in first, for example, Chrissy's in second, that's a really good use case. I think that would be something that I would recommend doing. So definitely utilize these quiz questions. So multiple choice, we have true and false, we have type answer. So maybe you have a question about where someone needs to type in the correct answer word for word. Really good use case there. We have a slider question, which is where a lot of individuals can type in an answer, for example. It's really common in sales. So maybe a question is, hey, what do you think our sales number were for last quarter? Or what are we projected to do next quarter? And people on their phones can then choose the right number to show it on the screen, which is really cool. Same thing goes for pin answer, just like we did for the drop pin in our Kahoot. People need to select a certain area on an image for that to be correct. And then, of course, not only is it just to test knowledge, it's also to get feedback. So if you remember from our Kahoot we played a moment ago, I polled everybody to see what their experience level was with using Kahoot. And that's really just a great way for me as a facilitator to really understand the audience that's joining the call. Same thing goes for the drop pin. Where are you joining from today? I want to know where everyone is joining from. Same thing goes for those open-ended questions. I want some long-form responses so I can really understand how people plan on using Kahoot as well. Yeah. And yeah, great question. So do you have to have Google Drive or OneDrive to use it in this way? No, you don't. So what you can do as well is you can actually upload your slides just like I did by clicking upload file. So it's just two integrations that we have inside of Kahoot. It's just the most common thing that we typically see is having either Google or Microsoft as your slide presentation builder as well. I will say you can also build using slides in Kahoot by clicking add slide. So you actually do have the ability to go ahead and do that here. I just recommend from an ease of use perspective here to use the import feature there. Yeah, and great question there, Lena, as well. Can you narrow drop to a state, a county, or a city? Yeah, absolutely. So it just totally relies on what picture you upload, right? So if, for example, you were looking to use that use case there to really break the ice in a meeting, it just depends on what image you use. So I can show you an example of how that works. So when I'm clicking add question, I just click on drop pin. And this is exactly how I built it. When I was preparing for this presentation for everybody, I asked, where are you all joining from today? And all I did is I clicked on the plus button because with a Kahoot subscription, you also get Getty Images. And I just typed in world map. So all I did here is I typed that in and then I found an image that I felt was the most appropriate. I think I used this one exactly here. And then it would have people join. So in your use case, if you're just looking in a more local environment, like a state or a county or a province, wherever you're located, you just would use that image. Yeah, great question. Yeah, super cool. All right. Great. Moving on here. So just to, number two. So of course, maybe you're not into slides, no problem. I've gone through those awesome AI features, the Kahoot generator, the Kahoot, the PDF function as well. So lots of really great ways for you to go ahead and get started as well. So we've also gone through some quiz questions, okay, of course, because I always say we want to always avoid the worst word in the world as a trainer or a learner, and that's being boring, right? So by adding these questions, we're making sure people stay engaged. You will hear me say this through every single training I always do. We always want to remember that people have the attention span of less than a fish, right? I know it's sad, but I always have to bring it up. I'm not sure if it's because of social media, TikTok, this and that, but it is something that we should always consider when it comes to having these interactive presentations. Awesome. So again, using AI to build Kahoots, we've already gone through that here. If you remember correctly, we have the Kahoot generator, importing those slides. We've gone ahead and made our presentations more impactful this way as well. I will skip through that as well, just to go through my very last item here, and that is now that you've actually seen this in effect, we've gone ahead, we played Kahoot, we've done it in a live setting here today. We've gone ahead and hosted it asynchronously. I've shown you how to send it out to people who couldn't join. I've also shown you the fundamentals of actually building this out. I want to know, can you see yourself creating a Kahoot? I'm going to give you the answer, even though you might not know it. The answer is yes, you absolutely can. And I think that all together, if we continue to use this as our method of learning, we can all make learning really awesome, which is really cool. Um, my last thing I'll mention before I go on to some more practical items is a tip. And two tips that I usually give people when it comes to making presentations more impactful, also using Kahoot, is try and not go more than 3 slides without actually adding a quiz question. It goes back to the human mind and the fact that we have a low attention span. So I strongly recommend just add a quiz question every 3 slides to make sure people are always staying engaged. Awesome. And then step number two, which I always recommend as well, is add a mix of those quiz questions. So add some that are for testing knowledge, and then make sure you also add some for feedback. It allows people to not just be competitive, but it also allows them to feel heard as well. I think that's really important for employee morale, for attrition, things like that, that people do feel like you're taking their feedback seriously. So definitely make sure to add some feedback questions in there as well, which is super cool. Awesome. So we've gone through a lot of content here today. The last few things I'm just going to share with everyone here is a link to our resource center. So at Kahoot, we have a really awesome resource center that goes through how to get started. So maybe you have a new Kahoot subscription. I'm going to go ahead and post this in the chat now for everybody. So definitely make sure to bookmark this one. I still use it every single day. I'm, of course, considered a Kahoot expert, but I do find that there's a lot of content in here. It's all bite-sized learning. So what that means is that you can find just what you're looking for. There's not a lot of fluff involved. There's 2 to 3 minute videos in here with links to our YouTube channel, which is also super impactful as well. So definitely make sure to check that out as well. Um, the next thing I want to show everyone here again is our YouTube channel. So this is a really cool place for you to learn a little bit more if you're a visual learner. This is really popular with younger generations, of course, where people can learn in 2 or 3 minutes. It's fun, it's interactive, and you also get a lot of meaning out of it. So definitely recommend taking a look at the Kahoot YouTube channel as well. I also will post this in the chat here today. So whether you're looking to find a 2, 3 minute video on how to use the Q&A feature, maybe you're looking to how to generate a Kahoot based off of a PDF, that could be something that is super impactful there. Yep, great question. So with regards to the pricing, we do have a pricing page. I won't be going over that on our demos here today. This is just more around usage of actually using Kahoot. Yeah, great question. So again, just going back to this here with regards to YouTube, definitely check that out. Again, like I said, lots of really good content there. The last thing I'll just show you with regards to where you can find some more inspiration using Kahoot is actually on our customer stories page. So this is an awesome way to find world-class organizations and to really learn how they're actually using Kahoot. We have a couple of really new stories, the news stories that we're actually very proud of. So we recently just launched one this past week with Virgin Atlantic, and how they're really driving engagement training as well. So definitely make sure to take a look at our story page where you can learn a lot more about this awesome global airline and how they're making it engaging for all of their users. So definitely check that one out among many others. And that leads me to the very last thing here today, and that is that I want to invite everyone not only to our advanced session next week, but also on the 1st of October, we're actually hosting one of our flagship events, and it's called the Kahoot at Work Summit. So what this is it's a really great opportunity to actually learn from leaders in learning and development. So we have speakers coming from Virgin Atlantic, from Advent Health, and also our Chief Solutions Officer, Sean Darcy, here at Kahoot is also going to be sharing a lot of really good information when it comes to the challenges that leaders are facing today, how to boost participation. We're also going to be going through a lot of great reports as well with regards to just the common things that people are seeing every single day. So definitely make sure to sign up for this event, and I'm going to share this as well in the chat here. Um, yeah, Keisha, great question. So the basic training webinars, for the most part, they are quite, it depends week to week, of course, but we do cover similar things on the basic sessions. Our basic sessions are to show you how to build and host a Kahoot. The advanced sessions, we're going to go through all the other features of Kahoot. So how to build a story. We're going to be going through how to build a course and also reporting as well. So what you can actually do with the data. We do cycle these every single Wednesday. So yeah, great question. Awesome. So that's everything from me. We've gone through so much material here today. We've gone through a lot of resources. I want to leave it open for a little bit of questions. And if there's no more questions, I'll let everyone go enjoy the rest of your day. If you're here in Europe and if your day is just getting started on the other side of the pond, I do hope you have an awesome, blessed day. And I hopefully will be able to see you next week on our advanced session or also on our work summit, which will be a really awesome thing. I also will mention I'm hosting that one as well, so I will would love to see all some familiar names show up on the screen when it comes to questions as well. Awesome stuff. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like there's too many questions. I really appreciate everyone's time. Like I said, just hope you all have a lovely day and happy Kahooting, have some fun, and good luck building content for your teams. All right, thanks so much. Hope everyone has a lovely day. Thanks. Take care. Bye bye.